We're returning now to the Dvar Malchut, the royal words of the Rebbe that we've been learning since the beginning of this week. And we are talking about Hanukkah. And the Rebbe is stressing the real essential point of what Hanukkah is. As you know, in Hanukkah, there was an amazing victory that just a few Jews fought against the Greeks, and the Greeks were tens of thousands, and we won. That's pretty good. But we do not, that is not the main emphasis of the holiday, and that's not what the holiday is identified with military victory. Even though it's a pretty impressive victory. I mean, it says that there were only 13 of the Maccabees or the Hashmonaim, and they fought against tens of thousands of Greeks. How exactly they did it, you could probably make a pretty exciting movie about it, but I don't think you could. First of all, you should know that the Rebbe was not in favor at all of making movies depicting any biblical events, Samson and then going across the sea and everything like that. And the main reason is because when you watch a movie, you're watching an actor. There's really nothing genuine there. Even the people that are acting, no matter how good an actor they are. But in fact, what you're seeing is not the point of the story, the human being doing something human. And what human is exactly the opposite. You're seeing a human being doing something that's sort of not really human, not genuine, not genuine, right? And that person who's standing in front of everybody with the fiery eyes and holding up his staff, and that's not Moses. That's some actor, very good actor. So what you're seeing is a very good actor, and that's what you're impressed by, even if you don't know it. Because a good actor, you're not impressed by the person. Right? You don't see the person, you see the person who he's portraying. So the whole point of the Torah is humanness. What is a human being and what a human being is capable of when God helps him. But the main thing is that God came through a human being. And to see human actions and human reactions and that you cannot portray in a play and a thing like that, unless you know that it's a portray. Sometimes little kids, they make like the a Purim play or something like that. But still, even still, they don't do it depicting an actual event that occurred in the Tanakh. In the Tanakh, sometimes they do portray things that appear in the Talmud. In the Talmud, they do Rabbi Yechon and the Ben Dosa and things like that, because they want to stress the miracle. And also, everybody knows it's just children. You see that it's just children. You see it's a kid with a false beard on. And so you see it's how do you say, entertaining to see that it's a child doing it. You're not trying to make a person believe that we're really witnessing the true event, right? The true event. Okay, so 11, 13, the Maccabees, they won over like 10, 20,000 of people and trained warriors. But the main miracle was from the finding the oil, the bottle of oil. That was a big miracle. And that the oil lasted for 8 days. Fire, oil. And therefore, the holiday of Hanukkah is the only holiday in Judaism that we are not commanded to make meals. There's no official Hanukkah meals. There is one on Passover. On the holidays, for sure there is. We drink wine. It's a commandment to make a kiddush on wine, etc. So the main thing was oil, and the Greeks, they defiled the oil. They went into the temple, and they did not destroy the temple. They defiled the temple, but they took trouble to open every single bottle of oil. They knew Jewish law. They knew what the Jews wanted. They wanted to take the craziness out of Judaism, to normalize Judaism. You want to light oil? Light oil. What's the problem? Light oil. But it has to be normal oil, regular, combustible, clear, grade one, what is it? Cold pressed oil, olive oil, best in the world. But it was impure. What does it mean impure? They opened the bottles. That's all. They didn't put anything in the bottle. Nobody even suspected that they put anything in the bottle. They just opened the bottle because they knew the law that an open bottle, if it was touched by a non-Jew, that makes it impure. It disqualifies it from use in the Holy Temple. Now, according to strict Jewish law, if there is no other way to do the temple service except in an impure way, it's permissible to do. It's permissible to do. It's like going through a yellow light. You're not supposed to go through a yellow light, but if you go through it, it's okay, right? If there's no choice to use this oil, they use the oil for the menorah, right, from the candelabra. If all of the oil is impure, according to Jewish law, because it's a, how do you say, a b'diavad situation, what do they call it, b'diavad? Anyway, a desperate situation, there's a better word for it. A desperate situation that there's no other choice, so therefore you can use this, right? You can use that. You can use impure oil. They could have used it, but these men said, we're not going to do it. We're not going to let the Greeks rule over us, even in a way that we can twist it around that it's permissible according to the Torah. We're not going to do it. It has to be pure. Says the Rebbe, what's the big deal with oil? What do they have to defile? What do they care so much about the oil? The oil, make a big holiday for oil. We've been celebrating this holiday for 2,500 years with the oil was pure and the oil wasn't pure and the oil lit and it didn't lit and 8 days. What's so big thing about the oil? Says the Rebbe, oil represents the deep, inner, essential, godly wisdom of the Torah. And oil also it represents the deep, essential wisdom of the Greeks. The Greeks had human wisdom, and the Torah is godly wisdom, and that the Greeks did not agree with. Because if you have human wisdom, so somebody can disagree with you. You're a human and I'm a human. I just happen to be smarter than you. But if you have godly wisdom, then you can't disagree with it. God is creating us. God is not a person. You can't disagree with your creator. God is creating us. He's outside of right and wrong, the high and low. What God says is absolute. It's like saying, I disagree. People do not have two eyes. It's a lie. People don't have two eyes. The fact is, everyone has three eyes. I see two eyes. Well, you're seeing wrong. Well, that's stupid. That makes no sense. Everybody has two eyes. You can see it. Who says you have to have two eyes? Well, I've got bad news for you. Your child, you have a baby boy, but he only has two eyes. What are you talking about? There should be three, but what can we do with it? But that's ridiculous. Everybody has two eyes. That's the fact. Why? Because that's the way God creates people. The Torah is even more so. The Torah is the wisdom of God. You cannot deny the wisdom of God, but God gave the Torah in such a way that he wants us to argue about it and to discuss it and to find out what the true meaning is. But the essence truth that it was given by God, you can't deny. And once a law is given by God, you can't deny it. You can't say, well, I don't think we should put on tefillin. I think to put on tefillin, they shouldn't be square. They should be round. There should be straps with God's name written on it or something. You can make up whatever you want. You can do whatever you want to, right? But it's not godly. And because the Torah and the commandments are godly, so Jews gave their lives and they're willing to give their lives and have given their lives just to put on kosher tefillin. And here in this case, just to burn kosher oil. Because they realize that the Torah comes from the source of your life. It's beyond argument. The fact that you have two eyes is because God created you that way. That's the God that gave the Torah. The Torah is even before man. And that is crazy. That makes no sense. And that's what they fought over. the craziness of the Torah. So the Greeks appreciated the Torah because it was tremendously deep wisdom, but they wanted to be human wisdom. Moses must have been a tremendously genius, gifted person to give such a wise and such an amazing, mystical book as the Torah, so impressive, right? And that the Greeks agreed with 100%. And the Jews said, no. The Jews said, no, that's not the Jews. A handful of Jews. Most of the Jews said, okay, whatever you say. Greeks, you rule the world. You're the boss. I agree with anything you say. And 13 of the Jews said, no way. The whole idea of the miracle was that they found pure oil. Much of the fact that they found it. Just one bottle of oil, pure oil that was sealed with the seal of the high priest. And there was not enough in it to last for even, except to last only one day. So there was a miracle and it lasted for 8 days. By means of what? That they crushed the grapes and they took out pure oil. Even since that the decree of the Greeks, Yavanim, was to make the Jews forget that it's God's Torah, Torah Techa, your Torah. They wanted to defile, God forbid, the holiness of the wisdom of the Torah. As Hutzrich Liot and Nes, so there had to be the miracle by stressing the holiness of the wisdom of the Torah. Namely, that it is the Torah is not the Torah of man, it is the Torah of God, the creator of the universe. The reason why God is creating the universe. Torah, your Torah, by means of this, that they found one bottle of oil that the Greeks did not touch. And even more than this, that they found one bottle of oil that was sealed with the seal of the high priest, Kohen Gadol. Darga Hachi Nailit, the highest level of oil that there could possibly be, and it was not in the ability of the Greeks to touch it. So it wasn't just that they missed this one bottle, it was a bottle that they could not have found. Nasa Bones, there was a miracle, and there it lasted for 8 days. Shivas Yamim, 7 days, in addition to the fact on the first day when they found it. The miracle was 8 days. What was a miracle? There was enough for lasting 1 day. So it lasted 8 days. So the miracle was not 8 days. They had enough to last 1 day. So the miracle was the additional 7 days. Right? Says, okay, you can look at it that way. So why do we celebrate 8 days? The fact that they found the bottle. The finding of the bottle itself was the miracle. In fact, in some way, the finding of the bottle itself was a bigger miracle than anything. That they found one bottle, that they had enough to light 1 day, and this included the 7 days of creation, 7 days of the week, that were all stemmed from this one miraculous bottle that they found. It brought miracle into all time. All the 7 days of the week. The Indians said this whole idea that it was pure oil is stressed also by learning the inside of the Torah. Because when you reveal Torah, since that you're learning in matters of the world, what is the regular Torah? Talmud. It tells you about things, what you should do, what you should say, what you should think. Ideas that deal with the world. Torah. That's what the laws of the Torah deal with. Therefore, it could be because of the descent of the Yerida, because there's so much darkness in the world, there could be that you recognize the wisdom of the Torah, that it is a tremendous wisdom, without to recognize and feel that it is the wisdom of God. There wasn't the time, it began really earlier, but especially in the time of the third Rebbe of Chabad, of the Tzemach Tzedek. And so there was a big movement in Judaism of, what was it called? Intellectual movement, enlightenment movement. And these were Jews that they knew Torah and they had learned They had been religious, or at least their parents had been religious, and they knew Talmud. They knew Talmud and they knew Torah, and they could even teach Talmud and Torah. Some of them were geniuses, big experts. And they set it as a goal to themselves to make Jews, especially Jewish children, not believe in God. You can learn the Torah. The Torah is wonderful. Torah is tremendous wisdom. Especially to learn the Talmud. If you understand the Talmud a little bit, you see the amazing deep wisdom there is in the different ideas and the different principles that are used in ownership and in marriage and in divorce. What exactly is owning something? What exactly does it mean to loan something to somebody? Does it mean that person has total possession? Does it mean the person only has a temporary possession? Does it mean he's in your place? Does it mean, what does it mean to rent something out? What does it mean to be a guard over somebody's property? These things are very, very delicate ideas, wonderful, deep ideas that deal with principles of the world. What exactly is marriage? What does it mean trusting somebody? What does it mean somebody's word? When somebody gives their word, what does it mean? Right? How deep is trust? How deep can you trust a person? A human nature. When will a person lie? How can you tell when a person is lying? Sometimes the person lies because he has to. Very deep ideas in family and love and in personal relationships, in monetary relationships, very deep. So a person can look at the Torah and say, this is really wise. The Jews are smart people. They are smart people. Look at they've had these laws 3,000 years has kept them together with no God in the picture at all. No God whatsoever. In your free time, do whatever you want to. You're the boss. You want to learn the Talmud, it's also another, and there's the Torah is there for you. You're not there for the Torah. Limud nigla the Torah, learning the revealed part of the Torah can bring you to wrong conclusions that you're the boss. But when you learn Torah with the secrets of the Torah, especially Chassidut, then you realize that there is God, and that God is a Da'at Elokei Avicha. You should know the God of your fathers. That by means of this, the learning of the revealed part of the Torah becomes permeated with holiness. You realize that the Torah comes from God. Shenikar v'nirs, that the Torah is as big a miracle as you are, even bigger. And the Torah is telling you why you're created. That's the Torah is God. It's the wisdom of God. Now, you can see you can get along very well without believing in God. You can learn the Torah. You can be a big genius. You can be a big rabbi. You can do whatever you want to, right? Be a big rabbi. You can write books. There's people that were geniuses, wrote books about that they didn't believe in God. They believed in the concept, that there is a concept, the God concept in Judaism. Especially this is expressed in the doing the commandments, because doing the commandments doesn't take any special talents or unique, abilities. Any fool can put on tefillin, right? That's for the harchi parchi. That's for the simple people. They do the commandments. Learning Torah, that's for the special people, the big people, huh? And the wise people, the big rabbis. And also you get respect. You walk in, this is the great rabbi. He wrote the book, right? The Torah and Me. He wrote the greatest book about the Torah. He was 57 volumes of Torah. This man is a genius, right? He doesn't keep Shabbos. He doesn't put on tefillin. Ooh, keep Shabbos. That's for the small people, right? This guy's a big genius. Says because he thought that he is God, that the real ultimate reality is himself, and that he has conquered the Torah. But when we realize that the Torah is the Torah of God, so we want the Torah to conquer us. The Nista, the Torah, that's the idea of learning the inside of the Torah, especially Chassidut. Kuf itself, Mugeshes, the Shemen, the oil of the Torah. A person, you can learn Kabbalah and also be an egotist. There was some guy in Israel that got the Nobel Prize for Kabbalah. Nobody even knew there was such a thing. And he was really a big genius in Kabbalah. He really understood a lot, the ideas in Kabbalah very, very well. An Israeli guy. This is like, 50 years ago, 70 years ago, something like that, 100 years ago. He was a big teacher. He had a big name, this, that. totally did not believe in God, not Torah. Maybe in the end of his life, I mean, he maybe changed his mind. So you learn the secrets of the Torah also, but that's called the wine of the Torah. But then there's the oil of the Torah. The oil of the Torah, that's the Judaism of the Torah, the essence of the Torah. This is even higher than the wine of the Torah. Okay, because Nosav Lakach, in addition to the oil of the Torah, that's called the secrets of the secrets. The secrets of the secrets. That's the essence of the Jewish soul. Every Jew. Kabbalah, you can say that's the essence of wisdom, Jewish wisdom. Right? There's wise Jews, there's mystical Jews, there's occult Jews, what do you want to call it? Right? There's Jews that they can really impress you with their knowledge of the upper worlds. You didn't even know there was such a thing. They know all of the upper worlds with every single detail of Kabbalah with gematrias. Ooh, you got gematrias. This is the numerical value of this. This is the numerical value of this. Just knock the whole crowd out with these amazing things, right? And that's called the secrets of the Torah. You can make you a big, super Kabbalistic egotist. Can be, not necessarily. It can be taken wrong. But Chassidut, you can also become an egotist with Chassidut, but it's much more difficult. Much more difficult. Because you're always constantly reminded that God is creating you, that the Jewish people are different, that Jewish people and God are one. You can't deny that Judaism is something separate from God. You can't say, I'm an atheist Jew. No, there can't be such a thing. It's impossible. It can't be. The essence of a Jew is God. The essence of God is the Jewish people. We're the sons of God, we're the essence of God, Jewish people. Because God has pain when the Jews have pain. That's the oil of the Torah. Mudgeshet, this is stressed at oil, that it's not a liquid in itself, but it's only good. Oil, wine you can drink alone, but oil is only good when you mix it with other things. Then it spreads out in everything. This is like the oil of the Torah. The oil of the Torah is the godliness which has to be mixed in with all of the rest of the Torah. This shows the unity and the concealment of the Torah, the secrets of the Torah, which are the essence of the revealed part of the Torah, the laws of the Torah, the Talmud of the Torah, the bread and the meat of the Torah. Reading the Talmud, that it too has to be permeated with the holiness of the Torah, the wisdom of God, Shemen Torah, and even more. This is the main thing, that Shemen, oil, you can light it up. The purpose of oil is when you put it into a wick, then you can make oil. Shemen l'ma'or. That oil is not just the thing that floats up above, it spreads out and everything, but oil you can make light from. Shehu Midgala, this shines the light of the Torah. The purpose of the Torah is to illuminate the whole entire world, that everyone in the world knows that God is creating them, to make everyone in the world happy. Not just in the little area of a religious Jew, but also outside of your little area, what's called your Dalet Amot, in the whole town where you're living. Like it's expressed, lighting the light of Chanukah, that you should put it outside. It says that when the sun sets, that's when you light the lights of Chanukah. It says ad shetichla regel min hashuk, until there's no one left in the marketplace. It used to be just up until, I don't know, 150 years ago, that when it got dark outside, is that people closed their stores. People didn't wander around in the streets in the dark. Maybe there were certain places where they did, but generally speaking, there were lamps that were lit in the street, so you saw where you were going. But the store is pretty much closed. People didn't go out so much. So it says when the sun set, that's when all the stores closed up. all the especially in the marketplaces, they would all close up. And there were certain people called the Talmudai. And the Talmudai, they would go after everyone left the marketplace, and they would go around and they would collect little sticks from the marketplace. What do they need sticks for? Sticks were a very, very valuable commodity in those days. And there was no gas lighting, there was no electrical lighting. People lit with wood. And you can't light a log. If you have a log, you can't put it on fire. It's too big, it's too thick. And so you have to crush it up. That's pretty difficult. But if you have little sticks, so you can put these little sticks underneath, you light the little sticks, they're easily lit, and that makes a small fire, and that lights up the big logs. So these people that are called the Talmudai, they would wait at the end of the market day when everybody left. They would collect the little sticks that were everywhere on the ground, and then they would go from house to house and they would sell them. Maybe the next morning they would sell them, whatever, but they would sell. So when it was the Talmudai, they were the last people left in the marketplace, right before dark. It says that's when we light the lights of Hanukkah. You light the lights of Hanukkah from when the sun sets, and it starts to get dark already, until it's totally dark. There's no more Talmudai left in the marketplace. That's the language used in the Talmud, in the Talmud in Shabbat, where it talks about Hanukkah. Okay, that's pretty weird language. Why doesn't it just say from the sun setting until it gets totally dark? Why do they bring Talmudai? So it says Chassidut means that the word Talmudai means that we'll see. Shagam b'zaman, even at a time with darkness. And it's darkness in the world. And it's darkness in the marketplace where there are the Talmudai. All that's left is Talmud. What's Talmudai? Talmudai is the language of rebellion, moredet. The people that are rebelling against God. The people that are rebelling against God. The Greeks. The what do we call it? What do we just say that they were the enlightened Jews, the ones that know the whole Talmud and they teach the whole, but they don't believe in God. They don't believe in God. They're against God. You can learn Talmud in university and things like that. Interesting learning, right? But the main point is to get God out of the picture. Don't be crazy. It says, even when in such a situation where there's darkness and the Talmudai, the rebellers against God, they're the ones that are in the marketplace. Nevertheless, the oil of Chanukah, levatel ulachalot, they can kalia, they can do away with, dissolve this rebellion. Marida b'Hashem, you can dissolve this rebellion against God. Now, this thing of rebelling against God, it's not these evil people that are out on the streets and doing it. It's each and every one of us has it inside of us. Each and every one of us has a little voice that says, listen, God says this, but I say that. Let me do what I want. Leave me alone. I want to be the boss, at least a little bit. That's the Talmudai. That's the little rebeller that's speaking inside. What's the antidote? The oil of the Torah. Learning Chassidut. Taking it to heart. Of course, it doesn't fix you up automatically, but it fixes you up. You learn Chassidut, it fixes you up automatically 10%, 15%, but at least it's a beginning. So that there won't even remain a foot of rebellion. Dargahachi acharona, the lowest level, gam kolo gama davar hagorim v'gam gorim shebagorim, even something which might cause a little tiny bit of egotism that could cause something that might cause something else to make you go against God. There won't be any possibility of going against God because you'll feel that the only real reality is God, and He's creating us and He wants us to be ourselves. And even more, Sha'or and Nir, that the light of Chanukah brings a kilion, another type of kilion, a expiring, an excitement of your soul. Kilayot means to be excited. Also, the Dharmadai, even the people that rebel against God will start to realize, hey, God is creating me too. What am I rebelling against God for? What am I getting out of it? that they also, Yavo, will come to also Kalot the Nefesh, to be excited about the creator of the universe and about God's Torah because of the great light of the oil of the Torah. That's the secrets of the Torah. Okay, but and also but the main of this of revelation of the oil of the Torah and the miracle of oil of Chanukah. When was this oil really revealed? This was in the Yom Tov of the month of Kislev, which comes right before Chanukah, Yutet Kislev. And Yutet Kislev, that began to shine the main thing of spreading out the well springs of God outward. The well springs of the Baal Shem Tov and the Torah Chassidut will be spread outward. Baal Shem Tov, that was the thing of the Baal Shem Tov, to take the secrets of the Torah and to make it practical for every human being to use day-to-day life. What's the practicality of the secrets of the Torah? It makes you happy. It makes you happy to serve God. It gives you a positive, how do you say, life saver, even in the worst situations. V'gam, and also even after there was defeated the Greeks, that's the holiday of Hanukkah, and the Greeks who wanted to make the Jews forget that the Torah was God's Torah, Torah Techa, and even after the Greeks were defeated, by means of stressing the source of light, which is in the Torah, the godliness in the Torah, the miracle of the oil of Chanukah, then Nimshach Seder Limud Torah Ba'ofen She'ikar Limud, then the main learning of Torah, Yutet Kislev, it began a whole new era in learning Torah. That even though they learn Torah, and the main thing of learning Torah is to understand the Talmud and to understand all the arguments in the Talmud, the different opinions in the Talmud, and how it comes out to actual law. Shari Gambazamana Tanaim, even in the time of the Tanaim, even in the time of the Tanaim and the Amorim. Where is this? Even in the time of the Tanaim and the Amorim, after the destruction of the temple, the Tanaim and the Amoraim, these were the people who wrote the Mishnah and the Talmud. Most of the Tanaim, it says, they had the power to raise the dead. Those are the ones that are called in the world Pharisees. What are they called? The Pharisees. They're called disparagingly Pharisees. But these people were tremendously holy people. This is like Rabbi Akiva, Hillel, Shammai, that the Tanaim and the Amoraim that came after them could also do amazing miracles. Hanina ben Dosa. Says all the wisdom of Kabbalah was concealed in their days, and it was hidden from all of the great wise men, except unique people. Those people who didn't know the Talmud, and they also knew Kabbalah, they were very few, and even the ones that did know Kabbalah, they kept it to themselves, like it says in the Talmud. For instance, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, it says in the Zohar, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, he lived like immediately after the destruction of the temple. And he was, he wrote the book, the Zohar. He was like sort of the father of Kabbalah today. He wrote the book, the Zohar. It's about 1,900 years ago, 800 years ago. Shaloni Tan Rishut Lagaloti, in the book, the Zohar, he said it was not given permission to reveal the secrets of the Torah only to him and his private pupils. Only now in our last generations, it became revealed, like the Arizal said, like the Rabbi Yitzhak Luri, that was about 400 years ago, said that only in our generations it is permissible and it is a commandment that we must reveal the secrets of Kabbalah to the world. But until the Yitgalut Panimiyat Torah, to reveal the inside of the Torah, in Torah to Hasidut by means of the Baal Shem Tov and the Magi, and the Torah to Hasidut Chabad. And just a small word, there's all these, what is Kabbalah club and Kabbalah, whatever it is, group and Kabbalah this. How do you know who's telling the truth? These Kabbalah groups, whatever. The whole purpose of Kabbalah is to bring Jews to do Torah and commandments, to reveal the godliness and the importance and the value of Torah and the commandments, the preciousness, the inside soul of Torah and the commandments. If you're in the Kabbalah center or the Kabbalah middle or whatever you Kabbalah, and it doesn't encourage Torah and the commandments, then it's not right. Not right. That's the whole idea. And that's what Hasidut did. Hasidut connected the Torah in an how do you say, what am I trying to say? In a necessary way. And there's a good word, I'm looking for the word. It connected the Kabbalah with the Torah in an inseparable way. Oh, that's a good word. Inseparable way. It's like the same thing of a person with a soul. You can't say, I like you, but I don't like your soul. Right? The life of a person and the body and the soul are one unit. The same thing, the Torah and Kabbalah are really one unit. It's one unit. That's the life inside of it. That was accomplished at Yud Tet Kislev by the first Rebbe of Chabad. Here's a picture. You got a picture. First Rebbe of Chabad. Kolomar, in other words, in Hanukkah was stressed mainly what oil does of the Torah. When you learn the revealed part of the Torah, that this is the main thing of learning. This made the godliness permeated. This made godliness permeate to the knowledge of the holiness of the Torah. That the Torah is the wisdom of God. It's not just the pastime of religious Jews. It's the wisdom and the will of God who's creating everybody, Jews, non-Jews, animals, creating everything. But the Torah brings out the holiness of it. She'achirush, the novelty of Yud Tet Kislev, when the first Rebbe of Chabad got released from prison, is that the Torah became the secrets of the secrets. Oil became a learning in itself, not just the inside of the Torah, the soul of the revealed Torah. We can learn the soul itself. It became an important learning. Hainu lo rak b'ofen shemar reviven hashemen, the secrets of the Torah, into the food, but it became oil itself. That became the main staple of the food. Like on Chanukah, the main miracle is oil. So usually oil is not good unless you mix it up with food. That's like the oil is only when you mix it up with the Torah. But here we're saying, of course, that's true. But here it's possible also to stress the oil in itself. If you've ever learned Hasidut Chabad, go to your local Chabad house and ask to learn any mimer. It was called a mamer, a speech of any of the Rebbes of Chabad. And you'll see that it begins, it's like a learning a very, very complicated story and very interesting. But the characters in the story are all these aspects of godliness in the upper worlds, and it becomes interesting to you. You are the main character. You're the hero. It's all happening inside of you. That by means of that, the Hasidut itself becomes food. It becomes understandable. You can understand God on its own. Pure godliness. That's the idea of Hasidut Chabad, Yud Tet Kislev, and that's the big connection between Yud Tet Kislev, where the main stress was the oil of the Torah, and now the oil of the Torah became digestible itself, to Chanukah, where the main thing is the oil, as will continue, God willing, tomorrow.